Well, bills that would make some big changes to the state's area education agencies are advancing at the State House, clearing the first final deadline. And KWWL's Daniel Perot joins us now to break it all down for us. Daniel.
We are a long way off now from where we started in this process. Let's walk you through it. So the governor's initial proposal gave districts control of special education funding and puts the Iowa Department of Education in control of all the AEAs. It cut $35 million in property tax funding for AEA media services. Those changes would start this upcoming fall. The Senate is moving forward with their own plan. Starting in fiscal year 2025, districts would get 90% of special education funding. The AEAs would get 10%. Districts would then be able to decide whether or not to use the AEAs. Districts would get 60% of media and general education funding, while the AEAs would get 40%. And finally, there's the brand new House plan. The districts would get the state dollars, the AEAs would get the federal special education funding. Under this plan, schools would have to use the AEAs for any special education services, but they can go elsewhere for general education and media services. Those changes would start in 2025. During committee hearings today, there were still some concerns about what this will all mean for students and families in rural Iowa. Joel Pedersen, the chief administrator for the Central River AEA, says they believe the House bill is an improvement over the original one. They still, though, have some concerns with the timeline and the fact that it does prohibit operational sharing.
We might have an employee that works 2 days of their contract at Janesville, and then the other 2 days they work at another school providing a different service. So we have specialists that have the flexibility to be able to do that. I think that should be there to make sure that we can continue to do things that rural schools can't do on their own.
House Republicans say they're not finished working on this bill. Representative Skylar Wheeler said he is open to conversations about ways to improve the bill through things like operational sharing.
Not the final product. I'm open to recommendations on the task force. We can continue to have conversations on operational sharing. There are significant pieces in here that have come from the different stakeholders out there, which is what I said 2 weeks ago that we were going to do.
Both the Senate and House bills now go to the floor where they can be debated, but obviously there's a lot of daylight between these three proposals, and lawmakers are going to have to work out these differences as they work to both clarify the language and hammer out the final version of these bills. Elizabeth?
All right, we know you'll stay on top of it. Thanks, Daniel.